Meg fainted as Spotify axed Archetypes Podcast and claimed Sussexes bagged $15 million payout due to low productivity. As part of their reported $20 million deal with Spotify inked back in 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had the podcast Archetypes, which the latter hosted. The show, which explored labels that held women back and touted such guests as Trevor Noah, Mariah Carey, Mindy, Kaling, and Serena Williams, will not be getting a second season despite talks. Spotify and Archetypes Audio have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series they made together. We hear the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are rethinking their deals to find better homes and partners. There's also a chance that Archetypes could wind up elsewhere. At the end of April, Markle signed with WME, with the agency also repping Archwell, the couple's content creation label. Building the duo's film and TV production, brand partnerships, and overall business is the priority of WME, where here team includes Endeavor CEO Harry and Meghan and brand rep Brad Slater. Out of the gate, Archetypes launched at the top of Spotify's podcast charts last August, notched at People's Choice Award, and was also #1 internationally when it debuted. The news Thursday comes as Spotify laid off 200 employees, notably audio engineers. Then cuts followed a larger staff reduction earlier this year when 6% of its total workforce, men at 9,800, were shown the door. One big exit was TV vet and former Condé Nast Entertainment boss Don Ostroff, who was key at Spotify in signing pricey and prolific talent deals. During her tenure, Spotify shelled out more than $1 billion acquiring podcast assets and locking up exclusive deals with such talent as Joe Rogan and even Dax Shepard. At the end of April, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek said the streaming audio giant was going to be very diligent in assessing future investments in podcasting as several of the company's rich talent deals come up for renewal. The Joe Rogan Experience, Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy, Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain, Distractable with Markiplier, and Armchair Expert are all talent-driven Spotify shows currently in the top 25 of the charts. Despite adding a reported 83 million monthly users worldwide in Q4 last year, Spotify saw losses mushroom by 10 times, with a net loss of $470 million US, revenues of $12.8 billion in 2022. Nonetheless, they stand at 515 million monthly users worldwide in 2023, 22% rise from earlier this year. This has spiked Spotify's stock to 152.18 million from a year ago thanks to strong user growth. Meghan Markle's Archetypes Spotify podcast won't be renewed for a second season as the audio company overhauls its approach to podcasting. Producers of the show have reportedly been told that the second season won't move forward following discussions about the possibility of a second series. The Archetypes podcast is the only project Meghan Markle and Prince Harry completed for Spotify after signing a deal worth around $20 million. Despite the size of that deal, the couple are reportedly not meeting the productivity benchmarks required to receive the total payout from the deal, as reported in the Wall Street Journal. The cancellation of Meghan Markle's podcast comes as Spotify makes massive layoffs. Last week, they laid off 200 people, including many audio engineers, as it shifts focus towards offering creator tools to podcasters rather than making its own original content. Following the cancellation of the podcast, a spokeswoman for Archwell said the team behind Archetypes remains proud of the podcast they created at Spotify. The Duke and Duchess confirmed the split. A spokesperson for the pair said, Spotify and Archwell Audio have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series we made together. During its only series to Spotify, the Archetypes podcast explored labels that hold women back. Soon after it launched, it became one of the most listened to podcasts on Spotify. The podcast had a long list of celebrity guests including Paris Hilton, Mindy Kaling, Serena Williams, Trevor Noah, and even Mariah Carey.